Hi everybody, my name is Jessie Lane Lee and I am a holistic nutritionist. Today I am so excited to be here to show you how to make my sour strawberry vitamin C macaroons. This is a delicious no-bake recipe that is perfect for anybody who loves sour candy, because this recipe is really sour and it gets its delicious sourness from Nutridom Canada's vitamin C powder. Okay, so let's just jump right into this recipe. The first thing we're going to do is add shredded coconut to a food processor, and this is really the base of our recipe. I like using shredded coconut as a base for raw recipes because it's high in fiber and it has a natural sweetness to it, so we don't have to add many other sweeteners to the recipe. I'm also adding ground flax seeds to the blender. We're doing all of our dry ingredients first. And I like to add flax seeds because they help bind the recipe, they absorb the liquid to keep it all together. On top of that, flax seeds are a really good source of healthy fats. Personally, I like to buy my flax seeds fresh and whole, and then I grind them fresh just before I use them in a recipe. Because this way those healthy fats are just preserved in the flax seed. But you can buy already ground flax seeds as well, whatever's easier for you. And then we're gonna add our star ingredient, which is Nutridom Canada's vitamin C powder. This makes these macaroons super sour, and we're adding quite a bit of it. Now, if you don't like sour things, you don't have to add it, but it just won't be as good. So I love adding vitamin C to recipes or just taking it as a supplement in general because it is so good at supporting our immune system. It is a cofactor in a lot of the biochemical reactions of the immune system. On top of that, it helps support the immune system and prevent oxidative damage that happens when our body is infected with something. So I love adding it to my recipes, to my smoothies, or if you don't like sour things, you can just take the capsules. So now we are just going to blend together these ingredients. So we'll do that. And that's just to kind of give them a bit of a mix. So once those are mixed, we're adding our wet ingredients now. So we'll start with strawberries. This adds a delicious fruitiness to the recipe. But on top of that, strawberries are also a really good source of vitamin C. We always think about oranges, but strawberries are right up there. So I wanted to add them to the recipe as well. For our sweetener today, I've chosen to use honey. And I've chosen honey for several reasons. The first is because it's delicious and it's sticky, so it helps bind everything together in here. But I also really like honey because it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. So it's gonna further support our bodies if we're sick and support the immune system. As a second binder for this recipe, I'm adding coconut oil. Coconut oil works as a binder here because when it's cold, it seizes and gets hard, and the way we're keeping these macaroons together is we're going to put them in the freezer afterwards. I also love coconut oil because it is a good source of healthy fat, and it's really energizing healthy fat, so we'll get lots of energy from this recipe. And then finally, I'm gonna add vanilla. This just makes it more of like a dessert, a little bit of sweetness. Love it. And then the very last ingredient is just a teeny bit of salt to bring out the flavors of everything. So once you have all of those in your blender, it's time to blend. And we're looking for the strawberries to get completely incorporated. And we don't want a lot of big chunks of strawberries, but we're also not pulverizing it because I like some texture in that coconut. So let's go ahead and give that a little grind. So you know it's ready when it's uniformly pink, and then it also kind of starts sticking a little bit. You can see it's sticking to the sides of my blender, or my food processor, sorry. That is what we're looking for. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so once you get to that stage, it is time to make these macaroons. So I put them on a baking sheet that I then put in the freezer. I find you don't really have to line it because it doesn't stick too much, but you could line it with wax paper or parchment paper, something like that. Really the key here is the water we're going to use to make sure it doesn't stick. So to make perfect macaroons, I take a 1 tablespoon measure and scoop out the filling. But first, I dip it in the water, otherwise it just totally sticks and it won't come out. So I take my little scoop here Get that nice little perfect shape, and then I just knock it onto the onto the pan. And I'm gonna do this for all of the macaroons. And it just gives it a nice shape, but if you don't have a nicely shaped 1 scoop, kind of 1 tablespoon measure, you can just eyeball it, or you can shape it any way you want. Whoop, that one flipped over. That is pretty. So you can keep on doing this. I find this recipe makes about 16 to 18, just depends on how diligent you're being with your scooping. So I'll just do a few more so I can show you here. And the cool thing about it is you can see from the strawberries, it's a beautiful, vibrant red, pink kind of color. And the cool part is that it actually keeps this color. Normally when we do something like this and we blend up strawberries, they start to turn brown. But the vitamin C powder is gonna help prevent oxidation, so it's not gonna turn these strawberries brown, which is so nice. Okay, so that one got stuck. So now you see what happens when you forget to dip it in the water. All right, so I'm gonna just do 1 or 2 more so you get the feel for it. And once you're done doing this, you're gonna throw it in the freezer for about an hour, just long enough for the flax seeds in there to start absorbing some of the liquid that came out of our strawberries, and for the coconut oil to harden to get these nice and solid. Gosh, it's so good. And when they're done, you get these beautiful, beautiful macaroons. They stay together really nicely, but I do recommend storing them in the freezer, because if you have them on the counter too long, that coconut oil will start to melt. They get these beautiful, sour, sweet, fruity dessert macaroons that you can really enjoy any time of day because they're not that high in sugar. So I really hope you guys try this recipe and let me know what you think. And I also, I just gotta take a bite. They're so good. And again, if you love stuff sour, definitely try these out. They have Nutridom Canada's vitamin C powder. If you don't like sour things, you can still try their vitamin C time release capsules and get all of those awesome immune boosting benefits of vitamin C. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the recipe. Bye. I'm gonna eat another one.